I'm going to blindly rank 10 ARK Dinos randomly selected by a spin wheel to see which is the best, which one do you think is the best, and what we think is going to be the best of the pick, why we think they're the best, and let's hope we don't end up with a dodo at first place. Without further ado, let's hit the spin wheel. 3, 2, 1, go. And what are we getting? What's our first pick going to be? It is... the Manta. The Manta, a creature I don't really use that often. Not a massive fan of it, to be honest. Quite an easy passive tame, not really. It can aggro on you at the worst of times. But of course, a very, very speedy mount in the sea, allowing you to travel around pretty quick. Arguably, perhaps the very first sea creature you want to tuck yourself into the sea and tame other creatures. Working on perhaps leveling up weight and stamina, it's definitely a good first choice for transport, and perhaps even a way to get your very first deep sea loot crates. But to be honest, this one is a hard one to place. The Manta, not something I ever really tame, really. I'm not going to put it at first place. When I put it at 10th, I feel like we're definitely going to get at least some creatures that are a bit poop. So I think maybe we need to rank it a little bit higher, but I'm not a massive fan. I think there's much better creatures in the game to tame, but we could find some worse ones. So I'm going to drop it in either 7th or 8th, one of those there. I'm going to go with 8th. And I hope I got that right. There we go. First one in and locked in. Done. Next up, what are we getting now? Something cool, something weird, something great, something efficient. Is it going to be a creature you want to tame? Is it a creature I tame? And I do tame Sabertooth. I'm a big fan of the Sabertooth. It's a definitely worthy early to medium tame, allowing you to travel much, much quicker than you think. If you spam that jump button, you'll see this thing move far and fast. A simple knockout tame. It's pretty good on the melee. Make sure to level that stamina and weight if you want to run about on these things. And a pretty well-rounded creature to harvest hide, pelt, organic poly, and chitin. Not forgetting it's a great first choice for cave running as well. I definitely rate this thing pretty highly. In fact, I'm going to go... I think bang on 5th place. I think we might get some other creatures that will definitely take precedence over this, but, you know, the spin wheel could give us some really shoddy creatures as well. So I'm going to go in with 5th place. I think that's definitely a worthy choice, a great creature to go for, and definitely an underrated one at that. All right, next one. What are we getting? Give me a win. Give me something that I could talk about, that I've got information. It's going to be something worthy to tame. A Dimetrodon! Once upon a time was definitely a great choice to tame. In fact, a creature you needed, of course, to get its kibble, to work your way up through the kibble system once ago in the old days of ARK. Now, not so much. It's got one trick up its sleeve, of course, and that is its ability to incubate stuff for you. It's got some very cool temperament features, allowing you to incubate your eggs. And whilst it does remove the need of an air conditioner, don't forget to pump that melee up. There is, of course, the otter, which has even more abilities up its sleeve. And this thing is a bit of a nightmare to tame. You've got to watch that torpor. It flies down at the speed of light, and that's about it. You can't ride the thing. You should really be able to ride this thing. This creature in particular definitely deserves some TLC love. Come on, the Dimetrodon is just not something we tame anymore. It's not a great fighter. It just sits there and helps you incubate eggs when there's other cooler ways to do it now, right? So for that fact alone, I feel like there's going to be something even worse in this list. I was going to put it at 10th place, but you know what? Incubation, I guess it's something if you really, really want it. But apart from that, yeah, 9th place, in it goes. Job done. Come on, man. Give me some good creatures to talk about. Some great features. Some cool creatures that we could discuss in a bit more detail. What have we got there? Oh, it's a Ooty. Oh, now that is a big, big contender for possibly the #1 spot. Everybody loves a Ooty, of course. The Fluffy Rex, as it was dubbed once upon a time, a very early entry to ARK's creature roster, with first and foremost its necessity of offering a Courage Roar, buffing allied creatures by 25% and reducing incoming damage by 20%, making this an absolute must for your boss fights. Don't forget, of course, on that Fear Roar, debuffing increasing damage by up to 50% and reducing damage done by 30%, combined making it a powerhouse in anyone's grasp. Don't forget, this is a great way to get your extraordinary kibble, as well, being one of the only very few creatures that allows to drop those special eggs for you to make those. So, you know, you're going to want a UT. It's a definite thing you want in your life. Everybody loves a UT. It's a very lovely looking creature at that too, allowing to roar a few things away, and with some pretty decent tanky health and melee to boot. You can use these in just simple general combat if you wish. A UT, definitely a worthy thing for you to try. If you want one, go out and tame one. I don't need to tell you that because you're going to do that anyway, which makes this a very difficult one to pick. It could be a first place choice depending on what else we get. And don't forget, with this game, whatever we lock in, that's it. You can't change it. It is what it is. We can't move them around afterwards. Is it first? Is it second? It's going to be first or second. We might get absolute whack after this. Are we going to get anything better than a UT? Do you know what? I'm going to go with first place with the UT. I think that is one tame you have to own in ARK without question. Everybody loves a UT. Everybody needs a UT. Is it the one we definitely should have put in first place? I guess we're going to find out. And courtesy to Dodorex, by the way, for these wonderful PNG images. Very nice. Okay, next one up. What do we see? What are we doing? What are we picking? What's going to add itself to our wonderful, crazy list right now? It looks like it's going to be the Megaloceros, everybody's favourite deer, wearing antlers, proud on their heads, easy enough to tame, a very good travel mount if you spam that jump. I think a lot of people used in Sabertooth especially, and of course Thatch. Thatch is the way. If you want Thatch in your life, this is the creature for you. Jump on a deer, get a deer, and very early on, right? The trouble is, getting a female is pretty useless to you because it has 0 attacks, though the male definitely does, inflicting bleed on humans, reducing 20% of their total health over 30 seconds. And that's about it. Really, really good for Thatch. Not forgetting, a lot of people actually use this as their dragon strat, making sure they're pumped full of sweet vegetable cakes and shooting off the back of them to kill the dragon. It's an underrated creature. It's up there, but is it really up there? Is the question. So, I'm told on this one, is it better than a saber? Is it better than a saber? It possibly is. Oh, I don't know though, man. I mean, you know, the thing is, you'll tame it, you'll use it for a while, but I feel like there's definitely much better creatures. I think if I was to choose between a saber and a Megaloceros, I would go for the saber over the Megaloceros. So, for that fact alone, ooh, I'm torn. It could be a 4th place. It is an underrated creature. It's a boss beater, believe it or not. Which I'm really torn with this one. 4th or 6th. I feel like it could go either way. It could be a winner there. It could be a winner there. It's in the middle somewhere. Let's put it. Oh, let's put it in 6th. Oh, we've locked it in. It's right there. Worthy one to tame. But I feel like there's going to be creatures. Hopefully, we're going to get in this list that are much more worthier to tame. Alright, next up, what are we getting? Come on, dude. Come on, give me something that's going to be worth slotting in the list. An Arroplora. Hey, PvPers, you all love them. Remember, cast your minds back when these first things got introduced with an ability to destroy structures. Everybody was using these. They're a great way. It's a free way to take out, base wipe anything you want, right? Unfortunately, running into these things kind of sucks, and also taming these things kind of sucks. You need to get yourself some broth of enlightenment and then try and stealthily, passively feed one of these in the face. Not a very nice thing to look at, but the fact is, it is a good base defender guardian, with you making sure to pump up that melee and health, making sure that melee in particular is pumped all the way up, allowing you to corrode anyone's armor easily, able to destroy Thatch in one hit, and all the way up to tech if you really want to have the patience with them. Of course, boosted servers especially. This thing is a bit of a monster. With a turret mode on top to boot. I forgot actually the Uti's got a turret mode as well. Don't forget about that one. And pretty good in the sea. Don't forget about that reflective damage on top too. Every time you hit one, it hits your back and hits your back hard. I think they're pretty good as a team, especially in PvP. PvE, not so much. I don't think anybody's gonna really put the time and effort into using these for much at all, which now makes me wish I had that one in at 6th place and I had the deer in at 4th place. I really wish I'd turn those around now. Damn it. I'm gonna... Oh, no. This could go very, very wrong. In that case, then, do you know what? Because it does have a bunch of abilities and has the ability to destroy structures, and the deer is now in 6th place, I'd probably swap these around. I'm going to put this in at 4th place. Pretty high on the list with this one. Probably would have rated it lower, but, you know, I've only got the slots. I've got the slots to rate this with. Coming in next, what we got for our tier list. What's coming up? What's coming in? Is it going to be sweet? Is it going to be good? It's going to be... Angelico! Hey! Everybody's favourite horse-faced... What is this? What is this thing? Horse-faced beer juggling poop thrower. Of course, needing a bit of work, making sure you can make beer jars to tame a Chalico. But once you've got those beers at hand, pour them down a Chalico's neck. And watch out now, you've got a very, very strong, powerful rock throw from these things. I think they're sort of almost underrated, really, as a really, really strong herbivore that can do a lot of damage. I've seen these things take on Dragon. They definitely can beat Dragon. With a bunch of rolls to boot, of course, you can put these in turret mode to throw their rocks from distance, from wherever you need base defense. They've got really, really good base damage and actually a pretty strong gatherer, able to collect tons of thatch and berries in quick succession. Just small enough to get into caves. This one is a real contender. I think it's a creature you definitely want in your life, and I would definitely rank this one pretty highly. But the question is, does it take 2nd or 3rd place? Could we get a winner in these last few slots that we've got left, or does it deserve 2nd place? It's a toughie. It's a real toughie. I'm going to hold off and hopefully expect something, a bit of a chief that comes in at the final minute to take 2nd place. So we're going to put it in at 3rd. A definite good choice. A Chalico is well worth your time if you want to tame one. What are we going to get? Not many to go. Are we going to get something that's worthwhile to talk about, to check out? The Diplo Darkus. Everybody's lovely giant Diplo bus. Hey, I'm glad I left a few slots down the bottom there. It's good. It's a very unique creature in the sense it's the only one, or one of the only creatures you can tame one of 2 ways. You can passively feed it, or you can knock out feed it if you prefer. And it's a bit of a lengthy tame if you want to get one in your life. And it knocks things about. It's really just a big annoyance when you encounter one, because it's likely going to knock you off a cliff at any point in time. I mean, it does have some great weight, able to haul a bunch of cargo for you if that's what you've got early on and you need something that's got that weight to move stuff from A to B. Gathering's okay. It can gather a large amount of thatch and berries, but is it something we really tame? Not so much. It used to be a great turret soaker with an alarming amount of health, and just, you know, use it as something you could throw at turrets and just sponge as much as you can. I feel like that's been nerfed in recent times. It'd be great to hear if people still use this in PvP. PvE though, come on, you don't, unless you want to go on those fun little rides with everybody jumping on the side saddles of that thing and just running around a map on it. There's not really much use for it. So for that fact alone, I'm tempted to put it in at 10th place. Is it really the worst one? Is it worse than a Manta? Is it worse than a Dimetrodon? In fact, it's probably not worse than a Dimetrodon. It's probably a bit better. I mean, 7th place. Do you know what? I think we're still going to get something that's dirt, that's going to be uselessly dirt, and we're going to get something that's actual dirt. So let's put it in at 7th place. For that. That's a pretty good start. So far, I'm pretty happy with this list. It feels like a good hierarchy, although I'd like to have changed the Arthro and the Megaloceros around. But so far, you know what? We're getting there. We're okay. It depends on what comes next. What's popping up next for us? Is it a winner? Is it a loser? It is a winner! That is one of the Crystal Wyverns. Which one is it? Hey, it's a Wyvern. There we go. There we go. So yeah, it's a wyvern. Hey, everybody loves a wyvern. A fantastic tame to take to the skies if you can get one, and pretty easy to tame if, of course, you've got Crystal Isles, which isn't out for ASA yet, but is out for ASE. A few crystals, job done. You can get this one, and this one in particular is an Ember Wyvern, a smaller, just slightly smaller version of the giant OG wyverns, but still able to pick up a variety of creatures. A great way to move things around the map if you need to. A fast enough flyer with a chunk of weight on it. Of course, a Titan killer. You can use wyverns to easily take down Titans. Scout as quick as you can, and in particular, a great choice to flap your wings and knock anything everywhere, as well as harvest, thatch, and even up to charcoal if you can find charcoal trees with your wyverns. An absolute monster, and in fact, an Ember Wyvern in particular is a very unique choice in the fact that you only need one of these to breathe fire on Megaloceros, allowing them to breed and pop out their own babies instead of walking them to lava. So in fact, this Ember Wyvern in particular is a very worthy choice. Don't overlook its shorter range of its breath attack versus a fire wyvern. A definite worthy choice. A wyvern's a wyvern, and of course with that fire breath allows you to tame phoenixes as well, allows you to burn up people pretty quick. Was pretty OP when Scorched first came out for ASA. Anyone remember that, and how fearful you were of running into a fire breathing wyvern? And look forward to the ASA version of these when Crystal Isles joins ASA. But until then, we're going to base this on the ASE version of this. But wyvern is wyvern, and I'm very happy to put this in at second place. It's a perfect place for it, without a doubt, just below a UT, because UT is UT, but wyvern is wyvern. I get a few people in the chat might go, wyvern definitely deserves number one, but I'm still firmly happy with the number one spot here being given to the UT. Very happy with this list. I think it's a very good list indeed. That's probably the order of creatures I would see so far. It all now depends on 10th place. Is 10th place going to ruin this list, or is it going to be something whack? 3, 2, 1. Come on. Come on. Come in with a loser. I need an absolute loser. Pretty please. Is it? Is it? I can't tell. Yay! I mean, you know, not a complete loser, but definitely not one you're going to run to tame at all. Hey, monkey see, monkey do, monkey throw poo poo. It does a lot of that, and I enjoy it for that. In fact, underrated in it being able to slow things down with its poo throwing abilities, and that's about it. Obviously, it can open doors from the inside, but who's going to have a window that you can throw this one through to open the doors? Can autonomously gather berries, and that's about it. It's obviously a shoulder pet, and with that, it does halve the weight of anything you can put in it, so it kind of works as a decent enough backpack. But that is a pretty comfortable list. I'm very happy to accept. Do you know what? That was a great first start at trying out one of these. Did you enjoy this? If you did, hit that like button and tell me about it, and I'll do more of these, because I kind of enjoyed that as well. Telling you, informing you, and creating our tier list. What other creatures might we get if we do this again? I guess we'll find out. Until then, my name is Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, peace out.